on the show before, Charlie Grantham and I ran a players union a while before Billy Hunter. We have a lot of conversations about guys and their personality traits and what franchises or what players do they need to be around that can best make an environment conducive for them to ultimately reach their optimal level.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about, wherever Kyrie makes his decision, he has to buy in. And I think he's bought into what they're doing in Dallas. But I would even say if that is with the Lakers, having LeBron, AD in a franchise, his contract guarantee should reflect his commitment, which I think there is there for him. I think that relationship between where they were and where they are now with what they both experienced together and individually ultimately does set up for Kyrie is the missing piece of that triangle with AD and LeBron. Because he can shoot. He's dynamic off the ball handling, Max, you know what I mean, with AD, which LeBron can make the shot. Also, when LeBron and AD are involved in ball screens, you can run it towards his side because he could be a catch-and-shoot player. All of his pieces fit right into what they're missing.
It's like the perfect trio, really, when you talk about styles. By the way, I want to go over that Magic Johnson tweet quickly before we get out of here. I don't know if the Lakers have the right coach. I think Darvin Ham is promising. Right, but there are things that can be improved. You could say that about anybody. So let's say that's a check. They have the right coach. 2 superstars in LeBron and Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is an all-star plus. I wouldn't say superstar. A superstar to me is you're an MVP caliber player, and AD is something a little less than that. Emerging stars in Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, absolutely not. Neither one is an emerging star. They're both good players, but neither one's an all-star type player. And by the way, the Lakers may or may not still have them. We'll see. So I do think Rob Pelinka can have a really good offseason, and they could build on it.
So you just completely saying Magic don't know what the hell he's talking about.
No, stop that. I love Magic Johnson. I just disagree with a few of the things I think he has Lakers-colored glasses on. Let's put it that way. He sees through these lenses, and everything is purple and gold. Well, that's okay. It's what you want from Magic Johnson. Do we actually believe that LeBron James is really considering retirement? Keyshawn J. Willimax, ESPN Radio.
The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
Tatum, I think at worst he's third in MVP right now. He's playing defense at a borderline all-defense level. He's too young for these conversations to really start in earnest.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fund Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fund Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV, or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fund Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC, and you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on the Zone.
Come celebrate the establishment of Bryan College Station. Join me, Mayor Bobby Gutierrez, for the 9th Annual Founders Night, presented by the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce and title sponsor, the City of Bryan, on June 23rd at the Stella Hotel for a night of casino games, foods, and drinks. Registration is open to the public and tickets are $50 each. Visit bcschamber.org or call 260-5200 to reserve your ticket today. That's bcschamber.org.
When is the last time you were at J. Cody's? Well, friends, that's way too long. It's time to come back home. We still have all your favorite meats, from our mouth-watering smoked brisket, sausage, and turkey to our delicious mesquite grilled steaks. And don't forget J. Cody's refillable sides, especially their famous Cody corn, all served right to your table. Located on South College in Bryan. Are you getting hungry? Well, then get back home to J. Cody's. Online at jcodys.com.
Get ready. It's almost time to cast your vote for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Voting will open June the 1st as you decide the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, service, retail, health and wellness, and everything in between. Over 1 million votes can't be wrong. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Cherry Rufino with Coldwell Banker Apex Realty, Hillier Funeral Home, Mr. G's Pizzeria, and All Solar Texas. Voting begins Thursday, June 1st at bestofthebrazos.com.
You have some dough. It's lunchtime, but there's no way you would eat just dough for lunch, right? Well, the good thing is, I have some cheese. Your friend has some tomato sauce. This random guy on the street has pepperoni in his backpack. If we bring all these ingredients together, we end up with something much better than any of them alone. A savory pizza for lunch. But each of us has not only different ingredients, but also different opinions coming from our different life experiences. If we bring all these experiences and all these opinions together in friendly, civil conversation, we end up with opinions and ideas that are better than any of our individual opinions before. So if we want to come up with better ideas for a better world, what we really need are civil, civic conversations. Pizzas. It's an American thing. AmericanThing.org.
To find the complete list of prize contest rules for the Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM, visit Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The city of Bryan announces the closure of South College on the east side of Midtown Park to through traffic until mid-November. This is to replace the street and underground utilities, add sidewalks, and add roundabouts at South College in Williamson and South College in Carson. College Station ISD school board members have the better part of 3 months to consider what will be included in a bond issue this November.
This total package comes together at $350,862,000. We understood as a committee that was a big number.
The co-chairman of CSISD's 48-member bond committee, Rick Bennett, shared with the school board priority 1 and 2 projects that were recommended, which are online at CSISD's website. The CSISD board is scheduled to finalize what will be included during their August meeting, which will be at least 1 month after the board names a new superintendent. A 34-year-old Bryan man remains in jail following his arrest last Friday for DWI with 7 prior convictions and driving with an invalid license with 2 prior convictions. The Bryan police arrest report states the arrest followed a traffic stop after an officer saw him almost driving into traffic cones in the construction zone on Texas Avenue near Highway 21, then almost drive into oncoming traffic on Highway 21. Online records show it's the 21st time that Michael Terrell Jr. was booked in the Brazos County Jail in 14 years. Last week, the Leon County Sheriff's Office reported a missing 19-year-old woman from Hilltop Lakes. She was found by College Station police last Friday walking with a second person in a residential neighborhood. Sierra Carpenter was arrested for possessing a vape pen containing THC. Her CSPD arrest report indicated an unidentified man that she was with was arrested by CSPD on warrants for unidentified charges. More news at WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
As the old saying goes, if your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. At Intercon, we have a full toolbox to meet your window needs. Perhaps your home is ready for a full retrofit to vinyl windows. This full replacement option beautifies your home while improving thermal efficiency, noise reduction, and dust penetration. On the other hand, your existing windows may just need some maintenance. The glass in your existing windows may be replaced, in many cases upgraded to more efficient options. The mechanism in your windows can be replaced to allow the window to operate more smoothly. Maybe you just need solar screens on some windows to eliminate hot spots in your home that tax the air conditioning system and make some rooms unlivable. With the breadth and depth of Intercon's knowledge and product offering, we can find the solution that meets your needs and budgetary constraints. Trust your friends at Intercon to understand your needs and use the best tool for the job.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Aggie baseball will begin SEC tournament play today against Tennessee. South Carolina and Georgia will open the tournament with Game 1 at 9:30 this morning, and the Aggies are scheduled to play 30 minutes following that game. Freshman outfielder Jace Lavalette has been named the SEC Player of the Week and to the SEC All-Freshman team. You can listen to the game versus Tennessee on The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Texas A&M women's golf team advanced to the match play portion of the NCAA championships for the second straight year. Head coach Jared Chadwell after the round.
Yeah, Ben, at some point we got to get off to a good start. We did this at regionals, played really good back nines, but at some point we got to get off to a good start if we're going to beat any good teams.
Texas A&M shot a 1-under in the fourth round to secure the 7th seed in match play. The Aggies will take on number 2 seed Texas at 8:20 this morning in the quarterfinals. Texas A&M men's tennis had Noah Schachter advance to the NCAA singles tournament second round after a 3-set win yesterday. He'll take on the number 3 overall seed Arthur Ferry today. Aggie women's tennis had Mary Stoyana and Salma Ewing both fall in the opening round of the NCAA singles tournament yesterday. JC Goldsmith and Salma Ewing will both begin their doubles campaign today. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
On the Louis Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, sure, we have a lot of fun, but we also like to break things down. Each Monday, we look back at the weekend that was, and we look at the key to the weekend. And on Fridays, we look ahead, and you give me your lock of the weekend. And it's all brought to you by Griffin Locksmith. Whether it's your home or business, you're having trouble with your locks, it's never fun, and you can contact Griffin Locksmith at 822-2705.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were we talking about?
It's bullcrap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him! Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, records on my demo. Did y'all boys not
So you got a couple teams that probably expected to be, I don't know, getting a bye or something, not playing right off the top. A couple teams with still have national championship aspirations, but Texas A&M falling short, and at least in the regular season, of what the expectations were. Tennessee as well. They played much better towards the end. A&M got some better pitching this past weekend against Mississippi State. We'll see how it all plays out as the SEC baseball tournament starts off a little bit later on today. Troy Watson getting the start for the Ags, and they need a win to move on to the double bye part of the SEC baseball tournament. It is TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studios. The Go Hour presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. Olin Buchanan, our Heisman Trophy voter and columnist, with us. Good morning, OB.
Good morning, Dave.
What's up, man?
I don't know, just feeling really good.
You got good sleep, you said.
I did. I slept like a baby. Just in the knowledge that my hated Lakers were defeated.
You really dislike LeBron, right?
Well, as much as anything, I dislike the way the media, that everything he does, no matter how insignificant it is, becomes so trumpeted.
Yeah.
And then, I was listening on the way in, and they're talking about what are the Lakers going to do now, and he said that he only wants to play in meaningful games. And I'm like, what? The conference finals aren't meaningful?
It's not meaningful. No, it's got to be
See,
a
that's the
guaranteed
kind of stuff I'm talking about, you know? And to talk about his roster, but I don't think it's any kind of secret that LeBron James has always been active in getting management to bring in players that he wants and things like that.
He wanted Russell Westbrook. He got rid of him. Now he wants Kyrie Irving again. He wanted Shaq a few years back. He picks and chooses his situation.
And that started when he went to Miami, right? Yeah. So, you know, I get turned off by the constant whining. This guy, they talk about how big and strong he is, and if somebody makes minimal contact, he goes, you know, he flops. And I mean, he should be in Los Angeles because he's such a bad actor when he flops. I mean, he's even worse than Karl Malone was.
Is he in your top? I know he's not your number one. Your number one's Michael, right? Am I
yeah,
right about
yeah.
that?
Michael Jordan's the best player to ever.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not. Is he in your top 3, top 4, top 5?
Definitely top 5.
Yeah.
I don't have I'm not stupid, but quite frankly, everybody will point to their physical. Okay, the bottom line is how do you play basketball? I'm not sure Bird's not there. Magic Johnson, Kobe Bryant.
Yep.
LeBron James. Yeah, he's in that category without a doubt in my mind. But I'm not sure that I would say he's necessarily better than all those guys.
Yeah, I would rather have Kobe, but I think LeBron is definitely in the top 3, top 2. I mean, he might be top 2. His longevity, his body, he stayed out of trouble. I don't like some of the theatrics. I don't like I still hold the Miami situation against him because I'm an old man and just how I am. I just didn't like the way that all played out. All that being said, to me, you can't compare. It's very hard to compare eras.
You can't. Because, quite frankly, the game was much more physical 20 years ago than it is now. I mean, it was. You can't even deny it. I mean, now it's just about, for the most part, jump shooting, and if you get minimal contact, sometimes not even contact, you call fouls.
Well, and also, let's not forget, Michael was averaging 35 in a league that was giving up 95 points a game, not 120 points a game.
They played defense because it was hand checking and things like that, all these things that you just can't do anymore.
I also have said on a couple different occasions that, LeBron's great. He's great. But he went through most of his career, all these runs to the East, when the East was very down. The East was not that's why it's like playing the SEC, right? Like the East would run into the best team from the West and it would be over. It'd be a wrap. And he won a bunch of championships, no doubt. But a lot of that early part of his career that he got to the finals were not.
And I keep going back to people say, he's the best player ever and all this. I'm saying Anthony Davis must be a better player than him because without Anthony Davis, they didn't make the playoffs. With LeBron and no Anthony Davis, the next year they got Anthony Davis, they won a championship, right? Or they got at least way into the playoffs. So, I get turned. I think my disdain for him actually is more rooted in the media
than him.
Than him personally, because they just, overhype. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I acknowledge it. I just did.
Yeah,
but. Just the overhype and running interference for him it just turns me off.
You don't buy. I know you don't. You don't buy that he's considering retirement, right?
No. I think he's. I think he's like Tim Tebow in that he's always looking for attention. I don't like Tim Tebow either.
I love Tim.
Always seeking attention, and he. This is his passive aggressive way of telling the Lakers, you're going to have to do what I want you to do to make sure that we make the moves that I like, that I think can win me a championship.
Well, general manager
why don't you
LeBron,
just play better?
He played pretty well yesterday. Maybe not towards the end. I think I heard somewhere that each quarter got worse. Like he 31 in the first half? Is that what he had? Something like that?
So, again, you were playing in the finals. I mean, in the conference finals. And a lot of the games, some of the games weren't close, but a lot of them were. Make the play you have to make.
Well, the Denver story is kind of cool.
Well, right. It is. And, here's the other thing. But so this guy from ESPN, you remember Kendrick Perkins, you remember?
Yeah.
And he made this statement that the only reason Jokic was getting MVP was because all the voters were racist.
Oh, I remember.
Remember that? And then they went back and said, well, actually, that's not true, or they're all white or something like that. Well, actually, they're very careful about the number of – and he's still on. And then now, look, Jokic was just the MVP of that series.
He was unstoppable in that series. Unstoppable.
I thought Murray was better, but okay. But he's the MVP of that series, and he's going to the final. And, no one in that media is talking about how guys like Perkins just dismiss him for what I wonder why. I wonder what reason there was to say that. It's just, Perkins made it pretty obvious because of, he actually used the language.
Well, let's localize it and move on to
localize it. They see ever since Alex Caruso left the Lakers,
they haven't been the same.
They can't win the championship.
They haven't won the championship. D1 baseball's got A&M in their projections, playing in the Texas Regional, of course, versus DBU, Loyola Marymount, the other team in there. I think this A&M women's golf today taking on Texas. Like it's just, can we not just get a little break?
No, I like it. I don't need a break. Take them on. Take them on. I'm not afraid. And if they lose, okay, then just get better and use that as motivation to get better and kick their ass next time.
Yeah.
I ain't afraid of Longhorns.
Well, they get Tennessee later on today. Not that long, from 5 hours from now. And I would like to see one more win. I'd like to see a whole bunch of wins. Yeah. But I'd like to see one more win in this tournament.
Just day at a time. And now they had some close games with Tennessee in Knoxville.
They did. They were up in two of the last two games late.
So I don't go in there thinking, okay, this is got swept, so this looks like a hopeless situation. No, you just got to play a little better.
Remember, they won the series against Florida, one of the top teams in the country.
Absolutely.
They can beat these teams, no doubt.
Go out and play better. That's all.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, I don't know if I'll get to your text message because the A&B text line right now is not populating. We're not seeing the text, but we'll see that hopefully momentarily. But that number is 979-693-1150, A&B, College Station branch of the Amarillo National Bank. Good Texas Banking, the website, amb.com. We go behind the glass. Nick Savage. Nick, good morning, sir.
Howdy, good morning, y'all.
What's up?
Nothing much. I'll give you a little update on A&M women's golf. So yesterday they advanced to the match play portion in the NCAA championship. Second straight year they do that. They shot a 1-under 287 in the fourth round to secure that 7th seed. So I guess top 8 seeds move on to the match play portion. So they just barely make the cut. They're set to face TU, like you said, in match play, and they're teeing off from around 8 to 9. There's about 5 tee times in that hour, so we'll be keeping up with that. And another matchup with another UT, I guess, in the SEC tournament coming up later today as well, and hopefully we can get the clean sweep there.
Yeah, it'd be nice to beat both teams. Troy Wansing on the mound for the Ags. Can I get that same starting pitching that we got over the weekend? That was it wasn't great. It was good, though.
It was like Richard Zane was talking about. If you can get average to above average pitching, you have a great chance to win.
Yeah,
because they have an offense that you can't. And like Brian Broniger said, you can't sustain the idea of having to score 10 runs or more to win all the time.
Yeah.
But you have an offense capable if you just get some solid pitching.
Yep. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Who do we got there? We've got Kennedy Cavan.
Surprise!
Caldwell's Kennedy Cavan.
Hey.
Hey.
Nick, I'm so sorry. I have to move the microphone. Please don't get mad at me.
What? Hey, it's a big day in the Cavan household, isn't it?
It is a big day in the Cavan house. It's my dad's birthday. So I want to say happy birthday, Dad. Hi, I know you're watching.
Happy birthday, Mr. Cavan.
He is, I'm not going to tell you how old he is. He is 35 years old today.
Well, I don't believe that.
He is.
According to Cavan, he must be like 50 or 60
well, how
because
old
she
are you?
thought
Never.
I was.
I'm 21.
So your dad was 14 when you were
Yeah,
born? Okay.
he was. He's 35 years old today.
My sons are 14. I do not want to have that thought. Let's move on.
And then I also have something else that I need to add. It's a bet between me and Kay Nagley, but I need to say the word laboring, making a hint at LeBron.
Oh.
You were talking about her or him, not her. Sorry, LeBron is a man.
We were talking about her earlier, too, though, behind her back.
Yeah, we always talk about Kay behind her back.
That's true.
Anyways, you were talking about him, Olin, and she texted me laboring.
Oh, okay.
So was Olin being boring, or was LeBron?
No, LeBron is boring. That's how I took it, at least.
Obviously not to a younger generation, though, right? Because I remember one time I was telling my son a story about this guy that I covered, a basketball player, when I was covering high schools in Austin.
Yep.
And I said, yeah, he played at LBJ High School. And my son's eyes got about as big as saucers. He says, in Austin, they have a high school name for LeBron James?
No.
I'm like, son, don't be an idiot.
What other news do you have for us, Ms. Kevin?
Kind of going off of the Texas talk, we did, in fact, lose softball, as in we lost to them twice this weekend. I'm a little over the Texas narrative. I had to cover 2 games where it was just a painful
Were you
watch.
actually there in Austin?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I was covering remotely.
Okay.
But I did have to watch a lot of softball this weekend, and 2 of those games were us getting beat by the Longhorns.
Yeah. They kind of ran themselves out of one inning, didn't they? Did they not? Or am I getting my games confused?
There were a couple in the first matchup against Texas. We should have won that game fully. But you know what? It happens. Whatever. It was a great season for softball. And yeah.
Well, thank you, Ms. Kevin. Appreciate you very much. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, big shot of the week. I didn't even talk to you about it. I know you're on the same page. It's like one of the guys on the list, and I say guys because we got a couple guys on the list. One of the guys on the list got a couple of awards yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
That's your tease. I wonder if Fargo's was a baseball player, if they'd get SEC Player of the Week.
Probably every week.
Yeah.
Because Fargo's is a home run, man. It's a home run, especially on Tuesdays.
You know, I've realized.
It's a grand slam on Tuesdays.
We, for a while, we were, out doing, each week was, each spot on Fargo's was a little bit more. And now, we've run out of ways to talk about good, because it's just good. When it's good.
It's Larapin.
Pardon?
It's Larapin.
Explain.
Larapin. It's a word. That's how great something is. That was the nickname of Lou Gehrig, Larapin Lou.
That was his nickname?
Yeah. So it's Larapin.
Huh.
That's how good it is. It's not just good. It's Larapin.
It's Larapin.
Especially
good?
On Tuesdays.
Did you know Larapin, the term, Kevin?
I've never once ever heard that before in my entire life.
Okay, just making sure. Larapin Kevin. That's your new nickname, Larapin Kevin.
Yay.
But we're talking about Fargo's, one of the top 50 barbecue joints in the world. So delicious. It's the place to go. Now, and on Tuesday?
Tuesday, you got the rib tips and other things, of course.
Of course, but the rib tips.
The rib tips are the star of the show on Tuesday.
It is so good. Wednesday's chopped beef on a baked potato. Thursday, I know you know at least one of the items.
I don't. You got pork chop and macaroni and cheese,
green beans, red potatoes. Friday, fish and corn. Saturday, they got the beef ribs. They've been a part of this community for a long time, over 22 years. Football weekends, office parties, anniversaries, weddings, you name it. Fargo, 1701 South Texas Avenue in Bryan. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town. That's your trademark because it's true.
Because they're Larapin.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. You're invited to a gallery talk and reception at the Start Galleries with Michael Grauer discussing the cowboy in Texas art. This Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at the MSC, RSVP at uart.tamu.edu. The Brazos Valley Bombers and Toucans FC are looking to add families in the area to their host family program to house players for the upcoming season. Contact Haley at bvbombers.com for more information. Registration is now open for the Arts Council of Brazos Valley Youth Summer Camps program. 18 art classes will be offered over an 8-week period for ages 6 to 18. Visit acbv.org for more information and to sign up. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Donate online at bvfb.org. You can call the Louis Bellina Show weekdays at 979-693-1150. Talk to Louis on the Smoothie King hotline from 11 to 2. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Okay, local business owners, do you get calls from multiple digital marketing firms trying to sell you the latest quick fix? You know you want to grow your online presence, but you don't know where to start. And trusting a partner, well, that can be a challenge. The solution is Bryan Broadcasting Digital Solutions. The same care in which we deliver our radio contents to you is the same care you receive with our digital marketing services. Let us simplify the digital marketing space for you. Go to bryanbroadcasting.com and click Digital Solutions.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Gulf States Toyota, Hargrove Insurance, and Twin Peaks. Here's a big gig to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
Question. Would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hello, Joe. Been a long time, brother. I moved out of town. You don't write no more. You don't call. What's up?
I lost your number. It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
You want to mess with me? Go listen to what I did to Tusser and Rich last week. Holla.
Don't really know what he's saying there at the end, nor does it really matter.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on The Zone.
Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose.
Who sings this jam?
This is Janis Joplin from Port
Larapin,
Arthur,
Janis Joplin?
She was quite Larapin.
Luke
Her
Gehrig
music was. My wife loves her, by the way.
Yeah?
Yes.
She's great. I think somebody's making a movie about her. I'm pretty sure there's one being worked on. So the Larapin word.
The movie, gosh, what was that movie? The Rose. The Rose. That came out like in the 80s. It was based on her.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I think they're doing a new one.
Okay.
I got confirmation that one of the Von Erichs might be on the show here.
Really?
Next
it would
week.
have to be Kevin because he's,
the only one left. Yeah. We're working on
I actually
details
interviewed
on
him
that.
once.
Yeah?
Yeah, Union Grove High School near Gladewater, Texas.
Okay. He doesn't look the same.
Oh, well, he's got to be 70 years old now.
But he's alive. And they've got the movie's coming out here pretty soon, so we're gonna get him on the program.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having him. It's TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Let's get into the big shot of the week. I'm gonna throw in the first one because I think I know that you'll have the second one.
Okay.
The first one is a gentleman by the name of Trevor Warner. Are you familiar with his game?
I am. And I know he had a couple of home runs in a game this week.
Well, not only did he do that, this is his stats since May. Batting .326, 6 home runs, 3 doubles, 17 RBIs, 783, as you mentioned, a couple of home runs there as well. Trevor Warner has been on fire.
And, he even had a game or two where he slumped for just a minute.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at those numbers, and there's a slump involved in there. It wasn't a long. Maybe slump is too harsh. Maybe he had some mortal moments.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean he's been playing like that major league prospect that Coach Schlossnagle says he is.
Yeah, he's got the size, he's got the speed, arm. And Bronny brings up, the mound visit and when they were all talking together, and he kind of took on this like leadership role from that point. He's certainly been playing great. The other one got a couple of accolades yesterday. What's his name?
Jace Lavalette.
Named SEC Player of the Week.
As well he should.
Yep, look at what he did on Friday against Mississippi State. And a must-have, not only the walk-off, but the 3 home runs, the 6 RBIs, the 3 RBIs, the 1 walk.
That's one of those things that I would believe is the A&M baseball fans will talk about 20 years from now.
Especially if they go on a run. If they go on a run this year, like this postseason, that might be the moment where like things turned. And I'm stealing that because Bronny's the one who brought it up. But if they go on a run,
if they have any success at all in the playoffs, and I'm talking about winning a couple of games.
Eliminating.
That's what got them in.
Let's say they get to that Texas Regional and they eliminate them.
That would be sexy.
And Jace is all a part of it. So he's got 4 multi-home run. I didn't think sexy was the word coming, but I'll take it.
You don't think it's sexy to go out and knock out the Longhorns on their own field?
My definition of sexy is different.
Sexy has different definitions.
It does for certain people, but for me, there's only one area I go.
Well, okay. What is that area, David?
Multi-home run games. When I think of sexy, I think of he's got 4 on the year, 18 total home runs, obviously the freshman record, 3 homers on Friday, sole possession of the A&M home run record, which has stood since 1987. Sexy.
I think when people talk about A&M, great moments in A&M baseball, what would you say?
Great moments
in the lore of A&M baseball.
I mean, it's interesting you bring that up because I'm going to go back to me, it's recent history. What we saw last year. Like what I know there's a lot of other history.
But individually. I hear all the time, maybe it's because I sit next to Gabe for so long. Wasn't it John Byington?
That's the record he just beat, yeah.
But didn't he have a big home run against Texas to beat Dressendorfer or somebody, one of their best pitchers? And so I hear that one. And then I think you actually go back to Nathan Detmer last year.
Oh, no doubt.
And there are probably others like a Scott Clendenin, Gabe could come in there and say, oh, yeah, and then there's this. But I would think that, the Jace Lavalette, especially if they get into the playoffs, that performance has to be right there in the annals of A&M baseball lore to be talked about years from now.
Let's see what happens from there, right? Like, I think that's how those legends are colored a little bit later is yes, and the moment huge, but what do they do from that moment? Mm-hmm. And if they go on and have a nice SEC tournament and what happens if they make it to the College World Series again? I know there's a lot of, come on, stop drinking the maroon Kool-Aid. But if they get pretty good starting pitching, they win some games. And that's how they roll.
I know what you're saying. And I think the key to that is worrying about Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then worrying about who's next. But, yeah, and I don't think they're going to get to Omaha. But I didn't think Ole Miss was going to get there last year, right?
Yeah, I mean, because you get to a point you're like, well, this is who you are. But let's be honest. And I saw this is something I read on the boards yesterday. No, somebody texted the show yesterday. The Miami Heat were the 8th seed.
Yeah.
They're a win away from the finals. These things do happen.
It does. So maybe everybody gets hot at the right time. I know this. I'm not going into today's game thinking, well, Aggies don't have a chance, so why bother?
If Troy Wansing pitches well, they're going to win.
I was asking Broniger, who, if from the SEC, would you say would have the best chance to get to Omaha and maybe win it? What one team in the SEC right now do you say, all right, that's the best SEC team with a chance to win it?
I mean, the easy answer, I think, is LSU.
Which has been struggling with their pitching.
Has been struggling. You can absolutely make a case for Vanderbilt and their pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Florida does.
Ding, 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 ding.
A team that A&M beat.
Twice.
Yeah.
So.
I think Arkansas. Yeah, Arkansas. But it wouldn't surprise me if anybody in the upper half.
Who's the number 1 seed, by the way?
Is in Arkansas?
Is it? I don't know.
Yeah. Let me. Actually, it might be the East. Let me. It might be Vanderbilt. Let me actually look.
I would think it'd be Florida if it wasn't Arkansas.
Florida's 20-10, and Arkansas's 20-10. So
who's the number 1 seed?
According to that, it looks like it's Florida, the number 1 seed.
So A&M beat them 2 out of 3.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance.
Tenemos chance aquí. Hey, if you had to participate in the SEC baseball tournament, and they said, you know what, Olin Buchanan, we want you to throw out the first pitch.
Oh, I don't know if I could.
Why? Joint pain?
Oh, my shoulder, my neck, everything. I have a whole lot of my back is too, but I have a whole lot of stiffness and pain when I try to do certain things with my shoulders.
Well, believe it or not, there's relief for it.
Really? Do tell.
QC Kinetics are good friends.
I need a quick cure.
You do need a quick cure. You want to be able to walk into the office and walk right out. That's what they do. They're in the business of giving people their quality of life and providing much-needed relief for joint pain out there, especially chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your own body's natural biologics. So if you got pain, like Olin in his shoulder, in your back, in your knees, in your shoulders, your hip, wherever it may be, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. And the best part of it is you walk into the office, you walk right out, in and out. Rápido, right? People are raving about the results. I think you'll really, really like it. So enjoy time with your family, wherever it may be, throwing the ball before a big baseball game or with your family right in front of the house. Call QC Kinetics right now for a free consultation, 979-452-6000. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. That's 979-452-6000.
We are going. Are you ready? This is only 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Our blood, our sweat, their tears.
It's time. Oh, here we go!
Let's go! Let's go!
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas, we're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today, voted best in the Brazos' best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
When is the last time you were at J. Cody's? Well, friends, that's way too long. It's time to come back home. We still have all your favorite meats, from our mouth-watering smoked brisket, sausage, and turkey to our delicious mesquite grilled steaks. And don't forget J. Cody's refillable sides, especially their famous Cody corn, all served right to your table. Located on South College in Bryan. Are you getting hungry? Well, then get back home to J. Cody's. Online at jcodys.com.
Marketing your business is hard. It's so competitive. We know, because we're a local business too. But when it comes to marketing your business and getting new customers, that is our business. Bryan Broadcasting is your full-service marketing partner, combining radio, print, and digital strategies for custom results-driven campaigns. Reach out to us and we'll work with you to create those solutions that will increase your business and bring you new customers. Go to bryanbroadcasting.com and click Digital Solutions. Bryan Broadcasting. Radio, print, digital.
Since 1957, Slovačić Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovačić is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovačić. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovačić Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Are you looking for a fun, free, family-friendly event on a Friday night? The George Bush Presidential Library and Museum is excited to show the featured movie, The Game Plan, on Friday, June 23rd. It's a sports film about an NFL quarterback living the bachelor lifestyle who discovers that he has an 8-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. The movie is being shown in conjunction with our upcoming exhibit, A Spirit Can Never Be Told, A Century of Aggie Football. Bring your blankets and lawn chairs and join us for games and free refreshments starting at 7 p.m. For more information, visit bush41.org.
On Sports Talk, Chip visits with Lindsay Berra about a new documentary on her grandfather, Yogi Berra.
I want people to remember how great my grandpa was as a baseball player, because I do believe the big personality kind of overshadowed that.
No question.
Maybe a bit of recency bias because he played his last game in 1965 and then for 50 years was making commercials and saying funny things and being quoted by presidents and such.
Sports Talk, it ain't over till it's over. Weekdays on The Zone.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner Schuler here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. He's OB. I'm David Nuño. Let's go to the hotline. We're joined by Shireen Williams of Pro Football Talk and, of course, the Hall of Famer. Shireen, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. How are we doing today?
We're good. We're good. Just, I guess we'll start things off with a little Aggie baseball. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm not saying they're winning the SEC tournament. I'm not saying they're winning tonight, but I feel a little optimistic after the way they finished the series at Mississippi State.
Yeah, much better. Played well, and hopefully they're getting hot and feel good and can go into the tournament with some confidence. And I don't know how many of these games they have to win to get into the tournament. We all know they're probably going to be going to Texas if they get in. So I'm tired of losing to Texas, I'll tell you that. And I sure hope women's golf wins today because I am tired of these losses. I'm on Clarence Hill a ton of lunches. When's the last time we beat Texas in anything? Baseball maybe last year, but we need to beat Texas in something, and we need to do it. If we get women's golf and baseball, I hope they both do it.
Now, are you of the mind that you wish that they would play someone else? Or are you of the mind, hey, let's keep playing them until we beat them?
No, I'd prefer to play somebody else, but it's not going to happen. So let's just go beat them. Let's figure out how to beat them.
Talking to Shireen Williams here on TexAgs Radio. Hey, so talk to me about this Thursday night flex that the owners have approved now that is going to change the way I know a lot of players and fans are disappointed. What is the big holdup? And it's only the last month of the season, right?
Yeah, it's weeks 13 to 17. They can only use it twice, so it's only going to be 2 times for them to use it. I don't think it'll be used at all. I think they'll play out the season. Then the flex rolls over. They automatically roll it over to 2024, and they get it again next year. I think it's only going to be used in case of emergencies. You remember last year, I can't remember the game it was, but there was a really terrible Thursday night game last year. I mean, terrible. And I think they probably would have rolled over that, but they have to give 28 days notice. So you think about how much things change in a month. Like, do you know a month ahead of time that it's going to be a really crappy game? Probably not. So I just don't think it'll be used probably this year. And you look at the late season games they have on their schedule. The Cowboys are one of those. They're not flexing out of the Cowboys. The Cowboys have been flexed out of a game once in their history, and that was in 2020, Week 15. That's the only time it's ever been done. They don't flex the Cowboys out of anything. So the Cowboys are going to play there. And you just look at the schedule they have, and I just think it's going to remain. But yes, it's totally unfair to the fans in the stadiums, even with the 28-day notice. Because there's a lot. I know a lot of people that have Cowboys season tickets who live out of state, who fly in for certain games. And what if you've made your flights and you made your hotels, and then you find out it's a Thursday night game? That changes everything. So, I do think it's really unfair to the fans for the Thursday night switch. Even the Monday night switch is going to be probably problematic for some fans, especially those who don't live in town.
I wonder if the NFL ever honestly thinks about what's best for their fans when they make these decisions.
I don't think they do.
Yeah, I don't either.
No. Well, and Jerry made the point that I think it's 7%, only 7% of NFL fans have ever been to the stadium. So they're doing this for the TV audience, obviously, and that's where they make their most money. But to me, the core of your fan base is the fans who show up at the stadiums. If you have we saw it in COVID. If you have an empty stadium, it's not nearly the same thing as having a full stadium and fans there. So those are really the people, whether it's 7% or 2%, those are the people you should be catering to.
Talking to Shireen Williams here on TexAgs Radio. Shireen, talk to me about Tom Brady buying a stake in the Raiders and what that does to the those who are like, maybe he's going to come back. I mean, does this kind of eliminate that, or is there still a chance?
I think it probably eliminates that. I think he's probably done in his career playing, and now he can go into being, part owner of the Raiders. Only the third player ever to have ownership in a team, and I think he'll do a good job at that. I mean, he does a good job in whatever he does, so I think he'll do a good job in this. I think he'll be more involved probably than most minority partners are. I think he'll show up at some practices, probably show up at some games, and shoot, who wouldn't want to hang out in Las Vegas and go to practice and go do whatever else you want to do in Vegas the rest of the time? So I think he'll spend quite a bit of time around the team, and you know what? If he shows up at practice, I think that helps those quarterbacks, and I think it helps that team.
Shireen, it seems to me that former players that have gotten involved, and I don't know exactly what his position is going to be, have done quite well. I think of Lynch,
General manager,
Ozzie Newsome,
yep,
John Elway. So am I just hitting the success stories, or are there a lot of failures of guys that have come back and gotten involved and not done well? Because quite frankly, when I look at the Cowboys and guys who've been in charge of like drafting and certain decisions that weren't players, it makes me think maybe they need to bring in a former player. Yeah.
I think you've pointed out some really good ones who, Ozzie Newsome and John Lynch stand out as, Hall of Famers who've done really good jobs in personnel, and there are others. Most players don't want to do that when they're done, and I get it, but those who do are really good at it, and most of them know what they're looking for. Most of them know what makes a good NFL player. They've been in the meetings. They've been in the locker room. They've been on the practice field with those guys. They've traveled with those guys. They've been in training camp with them. So they know what it takes besides just looking at film and saying, yeah, this guy looks great on film. They know it takes more than that. And I think that's an added benefit when you've been a former player to be able to do that. And those guys have done a really good job at it. I was sitting here trying to rack my brain of some guys who failed as former players, and I'm going to have to look that up because off the top of my head, I can't think of anybody. I'm sure there's people out there who right away should be, he wasn't very good at it. He wasn't very good at it. And I think it's been maybe a little different for coaches who were former players. You took Ron Rivera has been moderately, I guess, successful. He did go to a Super Bowl, but, I think it's more the GM roles, I think, that former players have really succeeded. And it's a great point. It probably is a pretty good story that I should look into writing.
Well, you do that.
Well, Shireen, this is for both you and OB. I'm going to throw this out. ESPN's Football Power Index puts the Cowboys in the top 10 with the sixth best chance to win the Super Bowl.
I think that's probably about accurate.
Yeah.
I'd put them second or third probably in the NFC. Now, all the good quarterbacks are in the AFC. They've all, when you get Aaron Rodgers moved over there, Tom Brady retired, the good quarterbacks are in the AFC. The AFC is going to be tough. The NFC gives you a much easier path to go down. And when you start looking at teams that are capable of winning it, I don't think there's that many teams in the NFC capable of winning it. I think it's the Eagles, Cowboys, 49ers. Maybe I'm missing a team or two, but those are the teams that stand out to me as the top teams in the AFC. In the NFC, and the Lions are coming on, and the Vikings to me have taken a lot of losses. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins, so I have some questions there. And those, just when you start looking at it, the NFC South, I don't think looks real good. I don't see any competitive team in that. I think the Saints will be better, but I don't see them contending for a Super Bowl. I think that's the three teams it's going to be. It's either going to be the Eagles, the Cowboys, or the 49ers when it comes down to it.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm never going to argue with Shireen about football, NFL football, but that makes sense to me. And I think the
Seahawks, I think, are right there. But they have Geno Smith.
Yeah,
I know he went to the Pro Bowl last year. I'm just not a big Geno Smith believer.
Yeah, me neither. I think the Cowboys have a tremendous chance to get to the very brink of it, and then they'll they'll have a huge turnover at the most inopportune time, because that's what they do.
Would you, as a Cowboys fan, would you be satisfied if they got to the NFC Championship game and lost a close game?
No.
I mean, you want more.
Of course.
You wouldn't be at all?
No. I would expect them to get to the championship game and lose.
That's what you expect.
And it'll be because of a boneheaded turnover or a really bad decision by McCarthy.
But in that situation, do they fire McCarthy if they get to the NFC Championship game?
Probably not. Not to the championship game, no.
No, I don't. Not the championship game, no. I think he gets another year.
Maybe if you got into the playoffs and lost like your first game.
So
absolutely.
You either need them to win the Super Bowl or lose in the first round, is what you're telling me, OB.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I'm getting old. I want to experience one more Super Bowl before I check out.
Shireen, thank you very much as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
See ya. Shireen Williams on the hotline. Open segment when we come back next on TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Bryan Elks Lodge number 859 invites you to the annual Memorial Day Fish Fry, Monday, May 29th from noon to 3. The Bridge Ministries Food Pantry invites you to the second annual Summer Park Day event on Friday, June 2nd at Sue Haswell Park from 5 to 7 p.m. Visit thebridgeministries.org for more information. Stage Center Theater presents Last Roundup of the Guacamole Queens. Performances run June 8th through the 24th. Tickets are available at stagecenter.net. The Mental Health First Aid Program teaches participants how to recognize the signs and symptoms of a possible mental health challenge or substance misuse, de-escalate situations, listen non-judgmentally, and connect people to resources. This free course is offered each month at the Brazos County Health District. Spend your lunch with the Louis Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, weekdays from 11 to 2. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Get ready. It's almost time to cast your vote for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Voting will open June the 1st as you decide the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, service, retail, health and wellness, and everything in between. Over 1 million votes can't be wrong. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Buff City Soap, Integrity Urgent Care, Pure Bar, Dirt Road Rustics, and Sit Means Sit. Voting begins Thursday, June 1st at bestofthebrazos.com.
Come celebrate the establishment of Bryan College Station. Join me, Mayor Bobby Gutierrez, for the 9th Annual Founders Night, presented by the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce and title sponsor, the City of Bryan. On June 23rd at the Stella Hotel for a night of casino games, foods, and drinks. Registration is open to the public and tickets are $50 each. Visit bcschamber.org or call 260-5200 to reserve your ticket today. That's bcschamber.org.
When is the last time you were at J. Cody's? Well, friends, that's way too long. It's time to come back home. We still have all your favorite meats, from our mouth-watering smoked brisket, sausage, and turkey to our delicious mesquite grilled steaks. And don't forget J. Cody's refillable sides, especially their famous Cody corn, all served right to your table. Located on South College in Bryan. Are you getting hungry? Well, then get back home to J. Cody's. Online at jcodys.com.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
Dave in San Antonio.
Back in the day, I was a casino manager, and Mr. Johnson came in one night, Saturday night, and he was wearing his own football jersey.
Hey, what team was this?
It was Jets. It was 1999. So we just thought it was odd that you were wearing your own jersey.
He really got me out there looking like a lame. Man, please, Dave, stop it.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
OB, this probably deserves more time than we're going to give it, but ESPN has ranking college football's top 75 quarterbacks of the 2000s. Did you see this list?
Is it? I saw a list. Is that the one that has Baker Mayfield number one?
Number one.
Oh, that's.
I think it's ridiculous.
That's insane. That's inane. Think of every word that means stupid. Go through your thesaurus.
What's
for stupid? I'm going to tell you who's number one, and people aren't going to like this, but in my mind, Vince Young.
Vince Young, yeah, he was.
And I'd put
he's number
Cam
3.
Newton number 2, and I'd probably put Joe Burrow 3.
So I'll give you their. By the way, Johnny's number 13 on the list.
I'd probably have him higher.
I'd have him higher, no doubt. Baker Mayfield 1.
Stupid.
2, Cam Newton 2. Vince Young 3. Tim Tebow 4. I'm okay with that.
I think Tim was overrated, but okay.
Joe Burrow 5.
There's no way in hell Tim Tebow should be ahead of Joe Burrow.
Deshaun Watson 6.
Okay.
Kyler Murray 7.
Maybe overrated in my opinion.
I don't think he's top 7. Lamar Jackson 8.
I don't have no problem with that.
9 Marcus Mariota.
I'd have him lower.
10 RG3.
I'd have to. I mean, there's no way he's ahead of Johnny Manziel in my mind. I saw them both, and I voted for them both.
Trevor Lawrence at 11.
I think I'd have Trevor Lawrence higher than I'd have Deshaun Watson.
Colt McCoy 12. You covered him, right?
I covered games. Maybe. He's not better than Manziel.
No. Johnny 13. Kellen Moore 14.
Okay.
And now we're starting to get into Sam Bradford 15. Jameis Winston 16.
Yeah, there's a lot of, but ESPN. I've quit paying attention to the kind of
Matt Leinart 17.
I would have Leinart above a lot of the guys that we've already heard.
Andrew Luck 18.
Man, Andrew Luck was really good.
Bryce Young 19.
Bryce Young was really good.
Yeah, I know, right? Like we're going through some of these quarterbacks,
and I'm like I would take some of the guys you mentioned, Andrew Luck, Bryce Young. I'd put those guys ahead of Baker Mayfield.
I think Baker Mayfield can be in the top 10. I don't know if he is top 10.
I'm not sure I'd put him in the top 10. Yeah, I know he won the Heisman Trophy. I know they went to the playoff. I know all those things.
I put Johnny ahead of him, and not just because I'm an Aggie, but I saw the games.
Yeah.
I think I'd put Bryce Young ahead of him.
Oh, I would.
I'd put Andrew Luck ahead of him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jalen Hurts and Mariota and Tua.
Tua's like 19 on the list.
Well, no, Bryce Young is 19.
Oh, sorry. Then Tua is 21. Sorry.
So, what did Dari Noga do this list?
I have Dari on the show tomorrow. I should have.
You should ask him because he's such a Oklahoma fan.
But Baker 1 and Kyler 7,
playing against all those Big 12 defenses.
Knowing some of the other guys after, I find it ridiculous. I do. Trevor Lawrence.
Was he not top 10?
He wasn't. He was 11.
See, that's just. I wish I knew the buffoons that would put that list together.
Let me see if it has the name of who wrote this. It might just be a staff thing.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not one guy.
Bill Connolly.
Well, Bill, you fumbled, man.
Yeah, that's
you're KJ Jefferson on the goal line last year, man. You fumbled bad.
I will tell you this one because it just popped up on here. Timmy Chang was number 73, if you were wondering.
From Hawaii.
Yeah.
Put up a lot of
he did
good numbers.
Patrick Mahomes, 57. Just some notables out there. Okay. Let's see. Any other? Kyle Trask, 48.
I bet you there are Oklahoma fans that wouldn't pick Baker Mayfield number 1.
Brady Quinn, 46.
That's about right for him. He was good.
Eric Crouch, 45.
Eric Crouch. Okay. Guy couldn't throw. But
Stetson Bennett, number 37 on the list. I'm okay with that. Again, I haven't tabulated what my top 50 would be, but I'm okay with that.
I don't have an issue with it.
I forgot this was in the 2000s, so I apologize. Ken Dorsey.
Ken Dorsey in Miami.
36.
He was good.
He was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think instantly you drop Baker, you put Johnny in the top 8, I think. I mean, I haven't written him out, but he's in my top 10.
If my top 3 would be, and I've already said it, and you can jumble it any way you want,
VY, Cam, and
Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow.
I mean, and I don't. How do you really argue that? And come up, and especially come up with Baker Mayfield.
And did you say you'd have Trevor ahead of Deshaun?
I think I would.
Yeah,
I think I would. And yeah, that's mind-boggling. But it just goes to show that just because ESPN is the leader of sports doesn't mean that they have a clue.
Well,
it's kind of the thing that says just because you're educated doesn't mean you're intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're on ESPN doesn't mean it's right.
Case Keenum, number 24.
Case was pretty good. That's probably a little bit too high, but he was.
I think it was a little high, but yeah, he was very effective. I mean, he's only 3 spots away from Tua.
And I remember somebody telling me that he thought Tua at the time was the best college quarterback ever. I'm like, now slow down.
Well, yeah, I disagree with this list. It's a list. People have opinions, whatever. But I think Johnny should be a little higher.
Over some of the guys that they.
Yeah.
Just because you're educated doesn't make you smart.
Thank you, Olin. Appreciate you.
You bet.
When we come back on TexAgs Radio, the 9 o'clock hour, we're going to have Chris Burke from the SEC Network joining the program. 10 o'clock hour, John Sheshik and Tom Hart. That and more. It's TexAgs Radio.
You can hear Houston Astros baseball all season, all postseason long on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. All season long, Houston Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer.
What does good planning bring to business? Real revenue. With vibrant neighborhoods, pedestrian-friendly avenues, and good public transportation, people in a well-planned community come together in ways that support the local economy. That means that stores, restaurants, and services in the area thrive. Good planning brings value to everyone in the community. Learn more at planning.org. That's planning.org. A message from this station and the American Planning Association.
Want to listen online? Not sure of the prize rules? Would you like to learn more about your favorite host? Go now to Zone1150.com. Zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan. Aggieland's home for sports.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The city of Bryan announces the closure of South College on the east side of Midtown Park to through traffic until mid-November. This is to replace the street and underground utilities, add sidewalks, and add roundabouts at South College in Williamson and South College in Carson. College Station ISD school board members have the better part of 3 months to consider what will be included in a bond issue this November.
This total package comes together at $350,862,000. We understood as a committee that was a big number.
The co-chairman of CSISD's 48-member bond committee, Rick Bennett, shared with the school board priority 1 and 2 projects that were recommended, which are online at CSISD's website. The CSISD board is scheduled to finalize what will be included during their August meeting, which will be at least 1 month after the board names a new superintendent. A 34-year-old Bryan man remains in jail following his arrest last Friday for DWI with 7 prior convictions and driving with an invalid license with 2 prior convictions. The Bryan police arrest report states the arrest followed a traffic stop after an officer saw him almost driving into traffic cones in the construction zone on Texas Avenue near Highway 21, then almost drive into oncoming traffic on Highway 21. Online records show it's the 21st time that Michael Terrell Jr. was booked in the Brazos County Jail in 14 years. Last week, the Leon County Sheriff's Office reported a missing 19-year-old woman from Hilltop Lakes. She was found by College Station police last Friday walking with a second person in a residential neighborhood. Sierra Carpenter was arrested for possessing a vape pen containing THC. Her CSPD arrest report indicated an unidentified man that she was with was arrested by CSPD on warrants for unidentified charges. More news at WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's David Nuño, and QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where's your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. And best of all, you walk into the office and walk right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally, being able to play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family. Whenever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today with a call to QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. That is 979-452-6000.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Aggie baseball will begin SEC tournament play today against Tennessee. South Carolina and Georgia will open the tournament with Game 1 at 9:30 this morning, and the Aggies are scheduled to play 30 minutes following that game. Freshman outfielder Jace Lavalette has been named the SEC Player of the Week and to the SEC All-Freshman team. You can listen to the game versus Tennessee on The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Texas A&M women's golf team advanced to the match play portion of the NCAA championships for the second straight year. Head coach Jared Chadwell after the round.
Yeah, Ben, at some point we got to get off to a good start. We did this at regionals, played really good back nines, but at some point we got to get off to a good start if we're going to beat any good teams.
Texas A&M shot a 1-under in the fourth round to secure the 7th seed in match play. The Aggies will take on number 2 seed Texas at 8:20 this morning in the quarterfinals. Texas A&M men's tennis had Noah Schachter advance to the NCAA singles tournament second round after a 3-set win yesterday. He'll take on the number 3 overall seed Arthur Ferry today. Aggie women's tennis had Mary Stoyana and Salma Ewing both fall in the opening round of the NCAA singles tournament yesterday. JC Goldsmith and Salma Ewing will both begin their doubles campaign today. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
Each week on the Louis Bellina Show, we go in the pit with barbecue pit master Bryce Jones. In the Pit, brought to you by Dixie Tire Company. Need a certain brand of custom wheels, auto accessories, truck lift kits? You need a flat tire repaired, tire and wheel rotation, or more? It's Dixie Tire Company. Sure, we talk a little barbecue, but we talk maroon and white, Astros, and more. It's In the Pit each week on the Louis Bellina Show with barbecue pit master Bryce Jones.
It's like a little SEC baseball. It's TexAgs Radio. Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go straight to the hotline. Chris Burke joining us from the SEC Network to get it all going. Chris, good morning, sir. How are you? Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. What's up? I lost you there for a second.
Hey, man. How you been?
Been good, man. How y'all?
Doing wonderful. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's talk a little bit about this A&M Tennessee game from a Tennessee perspective to start things off. What have they done the last couple weeks to really turn around the way it felt their season was going, last month?
We're talking Tennessee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference is they shook up the pitching rotation. Andrew Lindsey jumped into the one hole, and he's been fantastic. He was the SEC Pitcher of the Week this past week. And he's pretty much given them a chance to win every weekend out. Now, part of it, too, is they've played more games at home than on the road. And they've played a little better on the road. Tennessee's schedule or record is unique in that they're 16-14, yet they played Georgia and Missouri 1-5. just a microcosm of how bad they played on the road all year long. So I think just in general, they've pitched it better, which was supposed to be the strength of their team. And the offense has done enough. Jared Dickey really played like an all-conference player down the stretch, and Griffin Merritt provided a bunch of power, and they got contributions from Hunter Easley and Christian Scott. Like the lineup showed a little more depth. They kind of grew up a little bit. But I think Tennessee was second in the league in their last 15 behind Auburn. So, 11-4 in their last 15 after being 5-10. A little bit sneaky considering they had kind of gotten themselves off the radar there for a bit.
No doubt. Talking to Chris Burke here on TexAgs Radio. Do you put Tennessee, when they're at their best, in that elite category, like where we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year with the LSUs, the Arkansas, the Vandy's, in the Floridas? Do you put them in that same category or a step below?
Well, I think their pitching's elite. I mean, their pitching's better than probably their pitching's probably in totality probably better than Florida, but I would put it kind of right next to each other. And then really nationally, probably only Wake Forest would compare. Now, it hasn't been quite that consistent, but from a health and talent and depth standpoint, their pitching, at the top of the pack. I think where Tennessee's lacking is, Dickey's been a very good hitter, but you wouldn't call him a star. And their defense, especially their infield defense, has been porous at times. And so that's the piece that worries you. And then just in general, they haven't played well on the road. So if they don't earn one of those last posting opportunities this week, it's going to be tough for them to advance based on their current trend on the road. Now, they did win a World Series last weekend, so that's something they can build on. And to be fair, you don't go on the road in regionals to play SEC teams. So it isn't like an SEC series. But if you do go on the road, you're going to be playing somebody that's a number one seed. So, at some point you're going to have to win on the road if you're Tennessee. And that, I think, is what is really holding them down from being a sure lock top 16 seed.
Chris, I'm glad you brought that up because when I think about A&M and the what-ifs of this season, had the pitching staff been a little better, had this or that, I still think they go on the road in a regional. There's somebody that you don't want to face, regardless, Austin, Oklahoma, wherever they may end up. I feel like because of what they've gone through in the SEC and because I know the talent on that roster, when it's on, they'd be a really hard out as a 2 or 3 seed.
Yeah, they're very dangerous, very dangerous. Their offense can play with anybody. The offense is just going to continue to be on full display as the weather gets warmer and we get into these regionals where the temperature seems to always be in the 90s and the ball is just flying. So nobody wants A&M in their regional. As inconsistent as their pitching has been, there is some arm talent in there that shows flashes, whether it's Cortez or Garcia or Weinstein. Like there's some arms. Obviously, Detmer has proven himself in the past, even though it's been a disappointing season. There's arm talent there. And, the one thing about the Southeastern Conference is the hitters are so used to facing elite velocity that sometimes when you get out of the conference, that's just not the case. I mean, if you look at the SEC's non-conference record, it screams to the fact that there is a distinct advantage for Southeastern Conference teams against their peers outside of the league. And so, I think there's a lot to still be excited about for Texas A&M, and I'm certain they're getting in. Now, I know Sloss is worried about it. He's the head coach. That's kind of his job to worry. But I don't see any way that Texas A&M doesn't get in.
What do you think is the key between Tennessee and A&M for both teams' perspective to move on to the double bye?
It's going to be interesting tonight or today. I guess they're in game 2. There's weather all around us, and so. My guess is the field conditions will be a little slippery, so to speak. The ball's going to be a little harder to handle. And so it wouldn't shock me if this game comes down to some defensive miscues, just understanding that, Tennessee's going to have the advantage on the mound, but the ball's going to be put in play a ton, and both these defenses are going to be tested. And, infield defense, I would give A&M the advantage. So that could be a a storyline to watch in this ball game. But I would expect this to be a very good game for game number 2 today.
Chris, one more A&M thing for you. Jace Lavalette been fantastic all season long, 18 home runs, just named the SEC Player of the Week. He obviously made the all-freshman team. Just when you see this young man, what do you see about him that should excite Aggie fans about the future, what he could be doing if this is what he did in year 1?
Yeah, I've been saying it all year. He's definitely going to be a star. The frame, the body reminds me a little bit of Heston Kjerstad. At this age, he probably gets to his pull side power better than Heston Kjerstad did at this age. But Heston Kjerstad, for those that don't remember, was the 3rd pick of the draft, I believe, in the COVID year. And was an All-American on some Arkansas's best teams. So I think, you're looking at a potential future player of the year in the conference. And I think the most exciting thing about Lavalette is he's done tons of damage in the conference. So, there's an incredible group of freshmen, Petrie and Condon and Ike Irish, Lavalette, the second baseman for Florida, whose name's escaping me right now, has had an incredible year. Like it's going to be very crowded to be the SEC Player of the Year over the next couple of years, but I think Lavallette's going to be right there with any of them.
Is it fair to say LSU's been inconsistent, even though they're 19-10 and obviously right there, one of the top teams? But is that a fair statement?
Inconsistent. I don't think I would call them inconsistent. I would just call them beat up on the mound. They lost their second best starting arm in Grant Taylor in the offseason, and then they lost their 2 best bullpen arms in Garrett Edwards and Chase Shores throughout the course of the season. So, if you look at their record to start the year, where they had a really tough strength of schedule, they won every series. They split the one with South Carolina because there was a rain out. But, I think their quote-unquote inconsistencies would point directly to their injuries. But I just believe in that coaching staff. I think there's enough talent there. And they got the best pitcher in the country, the best player in the country, really, the most dominant player in the country in Paul Skeens. And so I just feel like they're going to figure out a way to get to Omaha still.
What makes Florida so dangerous?
Cade Curlin is the second baseman for Florida, by the way. I've just remembered his name. And he's part of that reason. The top 5 hitters in Florida's order it's the most dangerous 5 hitters in the country. And their 3 starters on the weekend probably have the most talent. Now, it's just been the last 2 weeks where they've finally gotten all 3 of those guys to pitch up to their talent. But that's a really scary proposition for the rest of the country because Throat, Waldrop, and Caglione are all first-round arms. The bullpen is a little light, but you're talking about a position player group that's as good as anybody's in the country. They got power. They walk. And the starting rotation can be dominant 3 deep. So, that's why I think a lot of people have them right there at the top of the list to win the whole thing.
Chris, what about Vandy? They lead the SEC in almost every pitching category out there. How legit of a contender are they?
Whew. It's amazing how things can change over the last few hours. Like, if you'd asked me in the bottom of the 8th on Friday night, I'd have said, boy, Vanderbilt looks like they are backpedaling. But then they scored 8 in the bottom of the 8th against Arkansas, and then they won the game Saturday and just won a series against arguably the hottest team in the country. And now it looks like Hunter Owen's coming back, and, there's reason to believe Vandy can make a run. Their position player group for Vandy standards is pretty average. Without Hunter Owen, their pitching rotation is questionable, but if he's back and he's truly up to form, then Vanderbilt certainly can find their way in Omaha on the strength of that pitching staff. But to me, it's dependent on Hunter Owen being back, and not just being back, but being Hunter Owen.
Chris, let's close out with Arkansas, the team you mentioned a moment ago. They've played so many tight games, and they've found ways to win, as you mentioned, one of the hottest teams in the country. What about taking their brand of baseball to neutral site games moving ahead, and how that will help them, especially here in Hoover?
It'd be interesting to see how they handle here in Hoover. they've been bit by the injury bug as much as any team in the conference. Literally, LSU, South Carolina, Arkansas. They've had as many injuries as anybody, and it kind of showed up a little bit there at the end of that Vanderbilt series. So that being said, I don't know that a long stay here in Hoover is necessarily good for Arkansas. I think, they would probably be plenty happy with playing 3 games, getting their starting rotation work, and getting out of here. That would be my guess. But I'm as bullish on Arkansas getting Omaha as any team in the league. But I don't know that this week is their week.
Chris, a text came in for you. And do you still follow the big leagues? Are you still following stuff that's happening in the major leagues?
Not very closely, but on treetop level. Wow, what's up?
Well, they just wanted to know what you do with the Astros to get Dubon in the lineup a little bit more often and their situation, if you have any thoughts on there.
Unfortunately, I don't. I'm not dialed in on the Astros day-to-day operations, so I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, I figured as much. I thought I'd ask you. Chris, man, great work as always on the SEC Network. We appreciate you coming on the show, and we'll talk to you here soon.
Okay, my pleasure.
Thank you. Chris Burke here on the hotline. Appreciate his time from the SEC Network. All right, we'll kind of go over some of those thoughts, and he called A&M dangerous. A team that nobody's going to want to face, and I think we've heard that theme a couple different times. It is simple. It is, and I hate to say it's simple because it's not simple because you are who you are, but good starting pitching, this team can win some games, no doubt. And that's any team, but especially with I know there's been talk about the offense being down this year, and it's not what it was last year. And you've got part of your lineup that has struggled, no doubt. Scoring enough runs to win games. They are. Let's talk about the Association of Former Students who have been around for about 140 years, and they love giving back to this community. That's what Aggies do, right? Aggies love to give back. They've been doing it because they love this institution. They love this community. They love the Aggie Network, and they do it through so many different ways with scholarships, Aggie bands, student assistance programs. You've got Silver Taps, Ring Day, class reunions, muster, tailgate, traveling Aggies, and, of course, they've got the Coaches Night that we just saw all last week here in the Brazos Valley and beyond, all around the state of Texas, where Jimbo got to go around and talk to the folks in San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, Houston, you name it. It's just a cool thing that the association does. They put together Aggie Park. They gave it as a gift to the university. They continue to give, and that's why they want you to know that you are the reason that they do what they do. So they created IamTheWhy.com, a collection of stories about Aggie, so you can see their mission, their why, the why they do what they do, and you can upload your story on that website as well. It is IamTheWhy.com. Again, IamTheWhy.com, the Association of Former Students.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. You're invited to a gallery talk and reception at the Start Galleries with Michael Grauer discussing the cowboy in Texas art. This Thursday at 5:30 p.m. at the MSC, RSVP at uart.tamu.edu. The Brazos Valley Bombers and Toucans FC are looking to add families in the area to their host family program to house players for the upcoming season. Contact Haley at bvbombers.com for more information. Registration is now open for the Arts Council of Brazos Valley Youth Summer Camps program. 18 art classes will be offered over an 8-week period for ages 6 to 18. Visit acbv.org for more information and to sign up. Help the Brazos Valley Food Bank bring hope to the table. Donate online at bvfb.org. You can call the Louis Bellina Show weekdays at 979-693-1150. Talk to Louis on the Smoothie King hotline from 11 to 2. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Get ready. It's almost time to cast your vote for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Voting will open June the 1st as you decide the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, service, retail, health and wellness, and everything in between. Over 1 million votes can't be wrong. Thanks in part to our sponsors, American Country Store and Pet Resort, Ed Phillips Plumbing, Pride Cleaners, and Jack Winslow Body Shop. Voting begins Thursday, June 1st at bestofthebrazos.com.
If bone density is a concern, ask the folks at SuperSlow about their bone density program. Bone density issues like osteoporosis or osteopenia affect millions of men and women over the age of 50. But SuperSlow's Strong Bone Health program uses 2 proven exercise technologies that stimulate your body's natural bone generation process. The decision to be healthier is just a phone call away. Call SuperSlow Zone at 693-6100 to find out about their Strong Bone Health program.
When I can't sleep, my mind just races. I think about work, the kids, but I don't think about taking melatonin because I'm afraid I'll feel groggy in the morning.
ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies has an optimal dose of melatonin for no next-day grogginess, so you can fall asleep naturally and wake up feeling refreshed. ZzzQuil Pure Z's Gummies for better sleep like never before. And try Pure Z Sleep plus Next Day Energy with melatonin plus extended release B vitamins.
Hello, Joe. Been a long time, brother. I moved out of town. You don't write no more. You don't call. What's up? I lost your number.
It's the Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
You want to mess with me? Go listen to what I did to Tutcher and Rich last week. Holla.
Don't really know what he's saying there at the end, nor does it really matter.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
Hello, Maybell, how you doing? Just over there, stopping by. I come to tell you how much I need you. And if I lost you, believe I died. She said,
Nick, Charlie Crockett.
Yeah, you got it. Because you read my message
the chat.
to Sean, yeah.
But it's a good song. I like it. It's catchy.
Good. Yeah. Charlie Crockett's really good. One of my favorites.
Tell me a little bit about him.
Why do you always make me
give
a
if
full
he's one of your
biography?
favorite, like ask me about one of my favorites. I'll tell you a little story about him. Just-
Well, I mean, he's from Texas.
Okay. Texas country.
Yeah. Well, he actually, I know this for a fact. He spent a little bit of time playing on the subways and stuff in New York and on the street corners and whatnot. And I guess found his way back to Texas, and he's kind of got a, East Texas, Louisiana sound to him. But
Was
he's
that
good.
that hard? It was easy to answer that, right?
Yes. I mean, I don't know.
Just ask me about something that I know about. Like, I'll give you something.
Who was the best rapper on our list the other day? Was it Jay-Z? Yeah. Tell me about Jay-Z.
Hove, who took his name
What?
from Hove.
Pardon?
Hove.
Who is that?
Sean Carter.
Okay.
Beyonce's
Sorry.
husband. The leader of the Rockefeller Group from back in the day.
Okay.
Former president of Def Jam. What else do you want me to tell you?
That's fine.
Blue Ivy. Isn't that his daughter's name? I believe so.
I don't know.
Yeah. Like, I think I'm giving you some information. Good friends with Chris Martin, who's the lead singer of Coldplay. You want me to tell you some more?
No, I'm all right.
You want me to tell you, like, his address?
You don't know that.
I don't, but I know he lives in New York.
Maybe he knows Charlie Crockett.
Bed-Stuy? You don't even know about that.
Nope.
See what I'm saying? I'm going to read this text message. It's taking me back to a show topic from, I guess, March. Yeah, definitely March. So there's no guessing to it. So Matt in San Antonio sends on the A&B text line. By the way, it's working once again. If you have a text message you want to send, you can do that. 979-693-1150 is the A&B text line. But this one's from Matt in San Antonio. And he says, with women's golf, softball, and likely baseball playing against the Longhorns in the NCAA tournament, looking back, do you think the Aggie men's basketball team was underseeded in March? Yes, to set up the rivalry game. I wouldn't like to think it, but makes me feel slightly better if it was the biggest factor for the committee holding a grudge against Buzz's comments. So let's take it in parts. Were they underseeded? 100%. It doesn't matter, though. They lost. Right? So, like, the way I operate is you really can't complain if you didn't take care of business. You can complain if you take care of business. Now, we on a talk show, we at home, we have fans. Of course, we're we all know that in my heart, I certainly believe that was a terrible matchup for Texas A&M. And I even told you all that leading into that game against Penn State. I gave you guys all the reasons I was worried. Now, I'm a worrier, so I'm going to tell you that against every team except App State, which I did not expect. But, like, I'm a worrier by nature. I look at the reasons, and I think coaches do this too, how a team can beat you. And everything that Penn State did well was kind of things that A&M tries to use against teams, right? They didn't turn the ball over a lot. Well, A&M obviously forces a lot of turnovers. They don't foul a lot. Well, A&M beat teams by going to the line as much as they did. So there's a lot of reasons that matchup itself made that whole, just gave me a sick feeling. And, like, Like, I did not feel comfortable. Even when A&M took a lead, I think it was 11-10. It just didn't feel right? It was so early. And then Penn State started doing – and, oh, by the way, and Penn State can hit some threes. So all those things, yeah, they were underseeded. It was a bad matchup for you. And they absolutely were trying to get the University of Texas to play A&M because you see it in every walk of life. Anything that they can – and by the way, media loves it too. Anytime they can be like, well, I could see the Aggies playing the Longhorns in this bowl game. Like, that's what you get at this time of the year. But do I believe that had something to do with it? Yeah, I do. They wanted that matchup. How about the right matchup? How about do what's right for the programs? Look, as I said just 34 seconds ago, you lose the right to complain about the situation when you lose, right? For a couple years, we the fans, disappointed that they didn't make the NCAA tournament last year or the year prior, and then this year, underseeded. 100%. We are on the same page. And get freaking Des Moines. We get it. Which was a nice community, by the way. I did enjoy it. Not my choice for spring break trip, but nice place. But they are absolutely doing that by design for TV, for intrigue, for clicks. No doubt. Do I think that they held a little bit of Buzz's comments against them? Yes, I do. I absolutely think that they did. Now, you could feel it by some of the information coming out of the committee. But, okay, we've moved on from basketball, right? Softball just lost. Soccer lost early in the year, right? Women's golf. And I don't know if Nick can try to look up the latest of what's happening there so we can kind of do it. But Calvin on the chat just about 10 minutes ago did say that women's golf was now up in 2 matches. So if we can get an update on women's golf, we need to see some victories against I don't care who, but especially those across, down the road. Got to go do it. Because I'm sick of hearing the stuff that I see. I see the stuff that the Texas writers write, the former students or whatever they're called, the graduates from Texas. I see it. And look, right now, you can't complain unless you win games. You have to win them. And hopefully women's golf can take care of business today. And then if A&M baseball is matched up against the University of Texas, a program, by the way, outside of this year, you've had pretty good success the last few years against. I don't want it, but I want it. It's always that case. The good outweighs the bad, right? Like if you win, it feels way better beating them than not. But the losing to them, especially the way the last few months has gone. But you know what? I ain't scared.
Yes, so I got you a little update here. A&M is tied in 2 matches, up in 2 matches, and Texas is up in 1 match there in Greyhawk Country Club. So just a little update. They are through 5 is the farthest pairing.
Okay. All right.
So going in the right direction.
Going in the right direction. Look, talk about belief in people. I believe in Garrett Chadwell. Absolutely believe in him. 1,000% believe in him. That dude's incredible. And the ladies he has on that. Yeah. We talk about, Billy said yesterday that, he still believes, and I do too, that Schloss is going to win a national championship here at Texas A&M. I think Chadwell's going to win one for A&M too, and it might be this year. Let's hope they take care of business today and keep it going. But I still think he can absolutely do that. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with an open segment. We can open up the text line. It is working again, 979-693-1150, 979-693-1150. Right now, we need caller number 1. We're going to give you a free car wash from Aggieland Express Car Wash in South College Station off of William D. Fitch in Greens Prairie. Aggie owned and operated with friendly staff and a personal touch. They offer a monthly membership. We'll give the first caller a free car wash right now from Aggieland Express in South College Station, 979-693-1150.
We are going. Are you ready? The Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, where we respect all and fear none.
Okay, it's time. Oh, here we go!
Let's go!
Brazos Running Company, located in Century Square, knows the right shoe makes all the difference. They are passionate about running and fitness and for finding the shoe that fits your stride and style. In addition to sought-after running shoe brands like On and Hoka, Brazos Running Company now carries Birkenstock shoes, and they are the only place in town to carry Viore clothing, one of the hottest athletic wear brands in the country. So come shop Aggie-owned and operated Brazos Running Company in Century Square, below Star Cinema Grill in College Station.
Get ready. It's almost time to cast your vote for the 23rd annual Best of the Brazos Valley. Voting will open June the 1st as you decide the best in dining, entertainment, automotive, service, retail, health and wellness, and everything in between. Over 1 million votes can't be wrong. Thanks in part to our sponsors, Cherry Rafino with Coldwell Banker Apex Realty, Hillier Funeral Home, Mr. G's Pizzeria, and All Solar Texas. Voting begins Thursday, June 1st at bestofthebrazos.com.
Come celebrate the establishment of Bryan College Station. Join me, Mayor Bobby Gutierrez, for the 9th Annual Founders Night, presented by the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce and title sponsor, the City of Bryan, on June 23rd at the Stella Hotel for a night of casino games, foods, and drinks. Registration is open to the public and tickets are $50 each. Visit bcschamber.org or call 260-5200 to reserve your ticket today. That's bcschamber.org.
Since 1957, Slovačik Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovačik is the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovačik. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovačik Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Need a place to call home? Lone Star Realty Group has a wide selection of properties to choose from. Looking for local experienced real estate professionals to work with? Well, Lone Star Realty has served the Brazos Valley for over 17 years. Want to work with a local company backed by Compass? The largest, most innovative independent brokerage in America? Lone Star Realty, a strong local brand with instant recognition, wants to meet you. Visit LoneStarBCS.com. Lone Star Realty Group. Experience, integrity, results.
On Sports Talk, Chip visits with Lindsay Berra about a new documentary on her grandfather, Yogi Berra.
I want people to remember how great my grandpa was as a baseball player, because I do believe the big personality kind of overshadowed that.
No question.
Maybe a bit of recency bias because he played his last game in 1965 and then for 50 years was making commercials and saying funny things and being quoted by presidents and such.
Sports Talk, it ain't over till it's over. Weekdays on The Zone.
All right, we're back. TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. A bunch of text messages coming in now that it's working again. Dave and Edmond sends in politics, you tell the truth. People call you conspiracy theorists. People flat out lie to your face nowadays. Sports media is no different. Committee hates A&M. It isn't a theory. It's a fact. I don't know if it's a fact, but it feels like a fact, right? Like, I'm not one to believe that there's a group of these guys that are so anti-A&M. Like, no. But I do think there's a few that can poison the group. So that's where I'll agree with you. Here's one from Trevor in College Station. It looks like the A&M baseball team has put themselves in a corner. Will they have to win the SEC tournament in order to get selected to regionals, or a decent performance be enough to be the last four in? What is your take? Thanks a bunch. Trevor, I think they're in. I think they can help their chances with a win here in a few hours, but I think they're in. Chris Burke, who was on the show just a little while ago from the SEC Network, also thinks that they're in. The fact that they won 14 games in the SEC, I think they're in. That is the number that I've heard for several years. You get that, you're going to get in.
Yeah, even Bronny and Kendall Rogers, probably the most plugged-in guy, with the whole selection committee thing, has said and told Bronny that they're probably in comfortably at this point. So, barring some catastrophic performance, I think they're in a good spot.
I think they're in a good spot too. And look, you want to win some games though. Like let's get Jace Lavalette those 20 home runs, right? Let's get that 2020 season. Let's get a couple more home runs. Let's get some more opportunities. Let's see how a little bit of what we saw this past weekend from the starting pitchers, if that can continue going on, and then you win a couple here. Well, let's say you win one, right? Let's say they win.
Well, hold on, let me step in. Let's say they win two. I mean, they beat the two teams that swept them in the regular season. So Tennessee, you get your little revenge there, even though it's one game. But I mean, it's in the SEC tournament. You knock them out, and then you go on and play Arkansas.
That would feel great.
Yeah,
but
awesome. That would be awesome.
Bronny did say yesterday, and I believe him on this, that you probably can't.
Yeah, you're not hosting. You're playing for a higher seed.
But if you win the SEC tournament, does that change potentially?
Maybe. I don't know. See, that's. I'm gonna go no.
I'm gonna go no as well, but I don't know. Like it.
Let's find out. Win it and find out.
Yeah, but here's the thing about winning it: you need rest. Right, you want your starting pitcher. Like that's why a lot of times you're like, just get a win or two and move on. Right, get a win or two and move on. Unfortunately, they have put themselves in a position where their future, I think, is good, but you don't know. And because we're A&M, and going back to the text from earlier, the conspiracy theorists, you feel like people are out to get you. At least when you're on this side of the equation, win some games, take that element out of it, and don't be the first to not get in. Nick, you usually peruse the internet, if you will, before the show, find some interesting angles that are out there. What'd you find this morning?
Yeah, so I found an article from our friend Connor O'Gara from Saturday Down South, and it's titled 5 Stats That the SEC Bias Crowd Will Hate Entering 2023. And I guess we can just jump right into it. First stat that he lists, in the past 4 years, the SEC is 14-2 in New Year's Six bowl games.
Here's the deal. That is what we know. Like, just look at the last group of national champions. Like, they all come from the SEC. So yeah, 4 years, 14-2 in New Year's Six bowls is kind of expected, and it's not even close. And the Big Ten is making the money, but it's just not close. With the SEC, go ahead.
He has the other Power 5 conference records in the Power 5 bowl games. The Big Ten is 5-4, Big 12 5-4, Pac-12 1-4, and ACC 1-6.
Well, that just kind of tells you the story, right? Like that is that it is. That's why when I tell folks, and I'm not even talking about our audience, I'm just having conversations with people when I say, look, Arkansas might win the Big 12 if they were in it right now. Like A&M's 5-7 season last year. Look, I don't know who they could beat with that offense, right? They're winning more than 5. They're bowl eligible in the Big 12 with that same schedule. That's the truth. That the SEC is that much ahead. All right, what's the next one?
Next one up. The SEC champ played in the national championship in 16 of the past 17 years. That's pretty insane.
What is the one time they didn't? I'm trying to think when they didn't. But I feel like they were in it all the time. I'm sure. When did they not play?
I'm looking. 2014. Oh, yeah. Alabama made the playoffs, but they were beat by Ohio State, lost in the CFP semifinal.
Okay. All right. So that's the 1 year.
The 1 year.
Yeah. And then if you look at it, I'm just going to go back. Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Alabama, Georgia, Alabama. Like it just shows you these teams in the championship game. Georgia beating TCU, Alabama loses to Georgia in the college football playoffs. Like it's just a ridiculous number, and they're playing against each other. And some of those losses are because they played another SEC team in the playoffs. It's just ridiculous how good they've been. What else?
Next one up, and this is kind of like a good news, bad news type deal. Just depends on how you want to look at it. No head coach willingly left the SEC for another Power 5 job during the playoff era which is a much different story for everyone else.
What are some of the examples? Do they have examples of other ones that people, I mean, because I think the biggest example we know about is Jimbo leaving Florida
Let me
State.
kind of peruse here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just saying it's a bad deal just because.
Look at the Big 12.
Yeah, I mean, you want to, yes, we have the best conference, best coaches, but do you really want them coming into your conference where it gets a little bit harder? That's what I'm arguing, but.
Luke Fickell leaves Cincinnati. He goes to Wisconsin, right? That just happened this past offseason. Lincoln Riley, we all know how that was all played out. Everyone thought, where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Is he going to go to LSU? Where's he going to? He ends up going to USC, or he was going to stay at Oklahoma, I should say. There were example after example after examples of this happening. And look, the only way in the SEC, though, you're going to get fired. You're not winning, right? You're going to get fired if you're not winning.
Exactly.
Number 4.
Next one up, the last time another conference had more first-round picks than the SEC, it was 2015. So actually more recent than I would expect. But, 2015. I mean, every year it just seems like Alabama and Georgia are leading the way there. But, just nothing but NFL talent in the SEC.
Here's a note that he puts in there. In 12 of the past 15 drafts, the SEC's had the most guys picked in the first round. So beyond just the draft itself, the first round itself, right? 12 out of the 15 years. And here's a line that he throws in there. If you believe that someone like Anthony Richardson is drafted simply because he played in the SEC, I might remind you that unproven college quarterbacks like Daniel Jones, ACC, Jake Locker, Pac-12, and Josh Allen, Mountain West, all got that kind of love as well. And it shows the number of SEC bias where people drafted 66 for the SEC. The next in the first round. The next one, Big 10 with 32, ACC with 30, Pac-12 with 23, and the Big 12 with 13.
That's pretty wild. More than double the Big 10.
More than double. Yep. All right. What's number 5?
Last one up. Even if you took out Alabama, the SEC still has more than twice as many national titles as any other conference since the start of the BCS era. And
1998.
He gives the numbers here. Non-Alabama SEC, 9. Then he puts Alabama by themselves, 6. ACC, 4. Pac-12, 2. Big 12, 2. Big 10, 2. And Independent, 1.
That's ridiculous. That Alabama by themselves is tied with the ACC and the Pac-12 combined. Alabama by themselves tied with that. Non-Alabama SEC national champions, 9. That's just ridiculous. That's just an insane number from that. Unfortunately, though, our team isn't there yet. And at the end of the day, these are all cool. This is why you join the SEC. You want to play in the hardest conference. You want to get the best TV times. You want to be able to win as many games as possible in the most elite conference. But until you break through, and we thought we broke through in 2020, until you break through, it doesn't matter. It is Go ahead. I'm sorry, Nick.
I was just going to ask. I mean, maybe it's just me, but do you feel like that kind of, SEC isn't as good as people think argument has kind of died down recently? I feel like I haven't heard much on that front. It was more prevalent maybe a couple of years ago, but I feel like people have kind of started to accept the fact and get those numbers like we just read off that the SEC is the dominant football conference.
Well, I think it depends who you root for, right? I hear people from the Big 12, they pick on what they can. Well, who you schedule in week 11 of the season, right? Like, it's every conference believes, Alabama's amazing, but that doesn't mean that they wouldn't do well here or whatever, right? Like, look, it is statistically proven that it has more NFL talent, more national championships, and elite matchups, right? When what happens when you take on Georgia and you are a team from the Big 12? What happens when you take on, outside of Ohio State, that I think is the one team that I'm like, they would scare me. They could have beat Georgia. You could say they should have beat Georgia this past year. Outside of them, like, who is recruiting at an SEC level? They're not. Now, Lincoln Riley might get it right eventually. Texas, they're joining the SEC, but they've been recruiting at an elite level forever, and they've had down time as well. And I think this will be a pretty good year for them. But there's always that. Well, it is Texas, right? So we'll see what happens there. But when you talk about all these teams that have come for the champ, and I think that's what makes the Georgia situation so, it's interesting, this because there's been a passing of the torch. And Bama's still there, but they're not. Yet, they are better than everybody else. It is not just Alabama. It is Georgia. It is Alabama. And then you got this next tier of teams that would absolutely slay, a word that Kevin likes to use, slay the competition. All right, we'll come back with an open segment. I see some text messages coming in. We'll do that. Right now, we're talking Heritage Films. That's Chance McClain's company, yourheritagefilm.com. They make documentary films about families. They make documentary films about people. They do it about your dad. They do it about your family ranch, your family business. It's a cool thing to do. If you're listening, you're a business owner right now, and you're like, look, I had to start this company in the back of my truck, right? And I had to do this and that. And now we've kind of grown into a real nice small business, and it's a grind. And this is what we've been able to do, but we're flourishing. Why not tell that story? Tell that story for your customers. Tell that story for your family. Tell that story for the people that are going to work there for the future years. What it took to get it done. You don't have to be freaking a superstar celebrity to have a documentary done for you. You don't have to be on TV all the time. You don't. You can have it done by a professional artist. That's what Chance McClain is. A guy who has done it at the highest level, from Broadway musicals, and he's done movies. He's started radio stations. He'll do this for you, and you will have this awesome documentary about your family business done in 8 to 10 weeks, and something you can share for generation after generation. Call Chance up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Bryan Elks Lodge number 859 invites you to the annual Memorial Day Fish Fry, Monday, May 29th from noon to 3. The Bridge Ministries Food Pantry invites you to the second annual Summer Park Day event on Friday, June 2nd at Sue Haswell Park from 5 to 7 p.m. Visit thebridgeministries.org for more information. Stage Center Theater presents Last Roundup of the Guacamole Queens. Performances run June 8th through the 24th. Tickets are available at stagecenter.net. The Mental Health First Aid Program teaches participants how to recognize the signs and symptoms of a possible mental health challenge or substance misuse, de-escalate situations, listen non-judgmentally, and connect people to resources. This free course is offered each month at the Brazos County Health District. Spend your lunch with the Louis Bellina Show, presented by B&B Automotive and Superior Auto Service, weekdays from 11 to 2. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Live life to the fullest. You hear that all the time, but it's easier said than done when you're in pain, right? Hey, it's David Nuño, and QC Kinetics is in the business of giving people back their quality of life and providing much-needed relief for chronic joint pain. And not just providing that relief, but doing it in the most non-invasive way possible using regenerative treatments from your body's own natural biologics. Where's your joint pain? In your knees, your hips, your shoulders, or your back? Well, QC Kinetics concentrates these impactful treatments right at the source of your pain, directly applying healing properties where you need them most. And best of all, you walk into the office and walk right out after treatment. No surgery, no downtime, and patients are raving about the results. So what does living life to the fullest look like for you? Finally being able to play golf, hike, walk your dog, enjoy time with your family. Whenever it is, don't wait one more day. Get started today with a call to QC Kinetics for your complimentary consultation. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. QC Kinetics, 979-452-6000. That is 979-452-6000.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
What's your Mount Rushmore of food?
I'll go grapes. I'll go mango.
Ooh, good one.
Love mango.
Whoa, how'd I overlook mango?
I'll go banana, and then I'll go with the classic apple, man. But you're not walking into, you're not going to get an apple.
I'm not going to get a banana.
No, I would totally go get a banana. I don't buy apples from my crib.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do, I do it big.
Nick, who's singing? Let's see if you know. Don't get help.
It's Wiz Khalifa. It's Kennedy Cavan's walk-up song.
It's your walk-up song? Do you know what that means?
My walk-up song? Why would this be my walk-up song?
I don't know.
In what world?
Sorry, it'd be a Taylor Swift song. Would be
You're
your walk-up
so
song.
right about that. That's true.
That's unfortunate that they've banned her from being played on AM radio.
That's so sad.
I know.
I hate that you just made up that rule.
No, it's a rule.
Is it?
It's a rule.
I'm going to need it in
At
writing.
least in Bryan College Station. Yeah, it's a rule.
Just on George Bush Drive?
Well, no, I mean, just... Do you think Louis or Chip's playing Taylor Swift? No.
They might be.
They're not.
You never know. They could be.
I don't think they are.
I bet they will.
I bet you they play Jimmy Buffett.
Jimmy Buffett, banger. All of them.
Really? Can you name one?
Wasted away again in Margaritaville.
Why did you sound like Richard Nixon there?
Richard Nixon?
Yeah, your voice was did a little trembling thing there.
Oh, that's... Yep. Mm-mm.
What?
I'm not that good of a singer.
Oh, actually you are.
Sorry.
TexAgs Radio. We are presented by who, Kevin? David
Gardner's Jewelers and the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Thank you very much. And
You're
if you
welcome.
Uh-huh.
want to text the what line?
The A&B text line, you can text us at 979-693-1150.
That is correct. Thank you, Miss Kevin. You said there was a few text messages to get into here.
We have a couple. Hotline has not been so hot today.
Because it was broken. You broke it when you got in.
It was fully broken, so I understand. But in the words of Drake, you should make our hotline bling.
You can't laugh at your own line. You gotta let me laugh at it, not you. It doesn't work.
I thought it was funny. So we're gonna start out with David Edmond. He said, "What did Ole Miss do in the SEC tourney last year?"
They won it.
Well, I think he was asking more logistics-wise, or statistical, but that's okay.
No, I think he's talking about the SEC tournament, not the NCAA tournament.
Oh, my fault.
I said SEC.
I'll figure that out real quick.
Okay. They won the whole thing last year. They got hot at the very end, and they needed to, and they got them in. I don't think A&M's in the same position as them. I think A&M is in the same position of them that it's possible, right? Like, hey, we had all these preseason aspirations. We were number one, and we thought we were going to be great, and then we kind of struggled, and then we won it when it mattered.
They lost in the first round last year.
Did they really?
They got beat by Vanderbilt. Yeah, 3-1. So didn't make it out of the first round.
Gotcha. What else do we have?
Trevor in College Station said it looks like the A&M baseball team has put themselves in a corner.
We did that one.
Oh.
Good times. Good times.
Sorry, it was in a meeting upstairs.
That's all right. Hey, by the way, I hear good things for you. Congrats.
Yeah, good things for me. Woohoo.
So here's one. We got one from a 979 talking about LeBron James is a 38-year-old, 20-year NBA four-time champion who scored 31 points in the first half, which is the most he's ever scored in a half in his career against a super elite defense, with 3 of his starting teammates contributing zilch. I think he deserves a pass because he got tired, not to mention he's injured in a closeout game. I think LeBron was phenomenal in the first half yesterday. I mean, that's Captain Obvious right there, right? Like, you score 31 points in any half in a do-or-die game. Yes, no doubt. There's 2 ways to look at it. What did you do when it counted? And that's what I think what OB was talking about. Like, he misses a shot. But LeBron, look, I think it is like when in soccer when they compare Messi and Ronaldo, when they do LeBron, Michael. Look, there is no real right answer other than Michael Jordan being the greatest ever. But there is no real right answer to all this. LeBron is phenomenal. He is probably the most gifted physical athlete I have ever seen, outside of Bo Jackson, but with the longevity, right? There's no doubt about it. I don't like a lot of his antics, and he's kept his nose clean. Like, the guy is People love playing with him. Good family man. Like, there's a lot to like about LeBron. But in sports, you pick a guy you like, and then you're anti that guy. So, like, when I was coming up, I was a Charles Barkley guy, which meant I couldn't root for Karl Malone because they were kind of like, not that they were rivals, but you were either a Barkley guy or a Malone guy. You're either an MJ guy or you're a LeBron guy. And I know us olds all pick MJ, and the youngs who work here a lot of times will pick LeBron. But I don't need statistics to tell me what my eyes saw. And by the way, statistics can help color the story for MJ too, right? But, like, I saw MJ will his team. Did he have some of the best players of all time on his roster like LeBron has had? Sure, you could. Scottie Pippen, one of the best defenders we've ever seen. Dennis Rodman was a rebounding machine. Horace Grant, great. Like, of course, yes, I get it. Steve Kerr, clutch. Yes, it's not like MJ played with a bunch of scrubs. But again, the way you look at things is kind of how you came up. And I remember, MJ didn't win as a 19-year-old. It took him some time to win an NBA championship, no doubt. He was winning in college, by the way. People forget to talk about that. He did win in college and won a game on the last shot. But beyond that, he had to learn you had to have players around you, and then he made those players better. LeBron made his players better around him, no doubt. But then when he gets tired of him, when he plays GM, he asks for another guy. Look, they can both be amazing, top 3, top 4. Just because one guy picks the other. Michael Jordan at the end of a game is my guy. Michael Jordan willing his team to win, not getting swept, going to the finals and winning all 6 of them. I mean, that's big time. All right. Let's do this. Let's hit a break. When we come back here on TexAgs Radio, John Sheshik going to join us. We'll talk a little more Aggie baseball as we get closer to the game. We'll talk to Tom Hart a little bit later on in the program as well. And we'll get to your text messages on the A&B text line that is now working. 979-693-1150 is TexAgs Radio.
You can hear Houston Astros baseball all season, all postseason long on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. All season long, Houston Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer.
Protect your computers, tablets, and smartphones from hackers by looking for secure internet addresses that begin with HTTPS. It is an indication they are protected by a secure encrypted connection. Only encrypted websites can help secure your internet communications and act as your first line of defense against hackers. A public service message from the Consumer Electronics Association.
Get connected and be in the know with the Zone. Follow us on Twitter at Zone1150. Like us on Facebook, Zone1150. Subscribe to our daily newsletter at thezone1150.com. This is KCNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. The city of Bryan announces the closure of South College on the east side of Midtown Park to through traffic until mid-November. This is to replace the street and underground utilities, add sidewalks, and add roundabouts at South College in Williamson and South College in Carson. College Station ISD school board members have the better part of 3 months to consider what will be included in a bond issue this November.
This total package comes together at $350,862,000. We understood as a committee that was a big number.
The co-chairman of CSISD's 48-member bond committee, Rick Bennett, shared with the school board priority 1 and 2 projects that were recommended, which are online at CSISD's website. The CSISD board is scheduled to finalize what will be included during their August meeting, which will be at least 1 month after the board names a new superintendent. A 34-year-old Bryan man remains in jail following his arrest last Friday for DWI with 7 prior convictions and driving with an invalid license with 2 prior convictions. The Bryan police arrest report states the arrest followed a traffic stop after an officer saw him almost driving into traffic cones in the construction zone on Texas Avenue near Highway 21, then almost drive into oncoming traffic on Highway 21. Online records show it's the 21st time that Michael Terrell Jr. was booked in the Brazos County Jail in 14 years. Last week, the Leon County Sheriff's Office reported a missing 19